We're here at Shedwars Wednesday. Welcome back. It's harvest time. I should have cleaned these up a little earlier because I've got 4 right together there. Turnips you never let get overly big anyway. So you can take a bunch of these. The skin is very thin on these, and just quarter them up and throw them in your pot of stew. We were late planting, and around here we plant all cool season crops, and for the amount of heat we got, I'm still happy with how our garden grew. I'm going to take a little bit of lettuce for supper. Look at this. Just look at this. I didn't take any tomatoes out of there this week, so this is what's ripened up. A couple of them actually fell off. This is what happens when you choose the right varieties for your growing season. I mean, we can say, yeah, but you had a warm season, but it's still short. This plant was put here late in June, and it is now the middle of September, and it has been producing tomatoes for, what, a month now? So I just picked 12 tomatoes. As we have been talking about things bolting, and since they bolted, do you want to collect seeds? This one here didn't produce that much, see? There's practically nothing on it. I don't know if there's any seeds in the little balls or no. This is spinach, as you know, and it's a relative of the beans, of the beets. So I'll take this one down. You see, each of these is a little fruit, actually. I'll take this off. And I'll break it all apart. And these are the seeds you get when you buy spinach seeds. Now I can lay these out on the ground, go like that, and spinach will grow here next year. Here's the kohlrabi starting to bulb up. So that's a little bulb. It will grow, if we have time, into a fairly big ball. And it will probably be down touching the ground by that time. But as you can see, it's a little above the ground right now. Let's have a look at the beans. There's a dry pod right here. Let's see what's inside of it. No, nothing inside of that pot. Because they'll be large like this when they're mature, when the beans are mature, you see. I'm looking to see if there was any dry ones here. But no, there's no mature dry ones. Now when you're gardening, you will notice one of the things you'll find out early, that your produce don't always grow perfect. What you see in the store has been graded out at the farm, and they're separated. These type, they'll take those and they'll make them into little dill pickles, or slice them up or into relish and things like that. They'll use these for different things. You'll never get to see this in the store, but it will be there in different forms. What I wanted to talk about today actually is, what do you do with your garden beds during winter? You may have heard of such a thing as cover crops, and in warmer climates, the big farms, because they only have a couple of different products that they grow, they have a growing season, then they have an off season. But they can still grow something for part of that time, so they put in a cover crop, clover being one of them, and there are many cover crops they use. It dies when the heavy frost comes, and then when the temperatures warm up again, they'll till that in and plant their normal crops. Well, here where I live, we only have the 120 to 140 days of basically cool season. Having more than a month of what will be considered summer temperature is very rare here. So I can't do that, but there is an option. This, what I call a mown meadow, and if you're driving by, you might think it's my lawn. But a lawn, traditionally, has a monoculture of grass. Hopefully I can show this well to you. If we scan over, most of what's here is clover. But there's a dandelion right here. This is one of the broadleaf plantains. There are some narrowleaf plantains. It's another wild plant. There is a narrowleaf plantain there. Pineapple weed. This is a wild mint. These are alpine strawberries. And even little tree seedlings. Sometimes you'll see the meadow just covered in wildflowers. Here's some spruce seedlings here. So when I mow the meadow, I am mowing up a wide variety of nutrient accumulators, nitrogen fixers, basically what the permaculture community would like to call a green manure. I use it in my compost, but as I was saying, I can't grow a cover crop to put on the beds during the winter. To grow on the beds during the winter, I should say. So, I do the next best thing. This is one of the beds that the onions were in. I flattened off the whole bed, pulled up any of the weeds that were growing. This will be quite settled down come spring. And, well, that's how deep it is. This will be insulation for the soil. And if you watch the Northern Reds reveal, you'll know that worms will come for these metal clippings like crazy now, and they'll be living in that soil right there. Because this is here, this is insulation. Here we'll have snow on top, which is more insulation. That soil metal clippings boundary will be alive all winter long. And it will be improving the soil and the worms going up and down, keeping the soil soft and improving it with their castings and the bacteria decomposing these clippings. Come next spring, if I'm planting, say, potatoes in here, then I can just put the potatoes down through this mulch and a bit into the soil and let them grow. If I'm planting out some transplants that are, say, a foot apart, like beans, I can just make a hole and I can plant the bean down there. You see? And then I go over another foot, make a hole, and plant the bean. So I've already got my mulch on the bed, plus it's been protected all winter long, and the bed is mulched for the growing season. These are the two beds that the Northern Reds were in. Now, if I'm going to be planting direct sowing seeds, I'm going to have to remove this and put on a layer of sifted compost, just like I did on the beginner gardener bed. And then I plant in the compost. So that's how you can go about protecting your garden beds. You can use straw or any other kind of clipping. If you live in the country, you can do this. Sometimes in a city, you've got ordinances and that your neighbours is not going to like you having a lawn. Sun's in the back behind me. Not going to like you having a lawn like I have here. But if you can get a hold of something similar, then cover your bed in it. Another thing I've done in the past was cover my beds in kelp or seagrasses or whatever you get on the beach. We get kelp here, but some places they have seagrasses. You can cover your bed in that, but for that I would say everybody's going to want to remove that in the spring and put down their layer of compost and plant away. And then your wintertime covering would go into your new compost. That's protecting your bed for the winter. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button on your way out, and I'll see you in the next video.